Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. MC-Mura here, and in today's video I'm going to give you a guide on how to play Seth in Street Fighter 5. But first let's talk about Seth as the archetype, the entire design, like how the character is supposed to be played and all of that, the strength and weakness. And let's start by saying that Seth is arguably one of the better characters in the game. It is pretty agreed on at this point. People always knew that Seth was strong, but it took some time to have everyone realize, okay, this character is actually ridiculous. So Seth is I'm going to say a neutral based character who can be played completely YOLO, aggressive, random, all that stuff. So think of Seth as a mix between Karen and Cammy. Karen is typically a very grounded, footsies, whiff, punish, neutral, all of that stuff. While Cammy is complete nuts, dive kick 24/7. And the strength of Seth is that he can be played both ways. You can play Seth completely neutral based and whiff punish and do all of that. And you can play Seth completely insane with the jumps. You can play the single player game with this character, certainly. So first let's talk about the strengths. First of all, the character for the length of the limbs that he have or she have or whatever, really good range and really good mobility. So the walk speed is pretty decent. Tall characters usually doesn't walk that fast, so the forward walk is really good. Back walk is not the best, but it's alright. But what makes this really strong is the range on the normals. So you have stuff like the forward heavy punch, and look at how far this goes. That's almost jump distance. The standing medium kick, this is a high, but it have really good range. This reminds me of Sagat's heavy kick from Street Fighter 4. They have almost as much range as that. Of course, this is only a high. If they are crouching, they will duck under it. And we'll get to the normals later. But, typically speaking, Seth have some very strong normals. The range on the normals is very good, along with a good mobility. And the second strength of Seth comes in terms of his damage. Seth have ridiculous damage output. And I mean ridiculous damage output. I'll show you something simple like this. This is 2 lights to ADP, and that is 170 damage, 250 stun. The damage output is insane. It gets even crazier when the V triggers are on, and we will get to that later. So, very high damage output, very good mobility, very good aerial game. So, because of the X kick, this is very hard to react to. This is very hard to deal with. Seth have very strong jumps as it is, with cross-ups and his jumping leg kick is a cross-up. The X kick allows us to change the jump bar. It has a lot of variables because you can do the heavy kick, X kick, and there's a lot of delay. The light is really fast. From this range, if you do jumping X light kick like this or do jumping cross-up, this is really hard for your opponent to deal with. Just this little thing is really hard to deal with. Seth also have a very strong throw game because the situation after the throw is really strong. Seth can dash and be only -1, which means that on any non-3 frame character, Seth get legit pressure. Also, they take throws from absolutely everything on earth. So jab to throw, standing light at the throw, crouching light at the throw, standing light at the throw, everything takes throws with Seth. So have very strong throw game, very strong pressure game, very strong neutral game, insane jump game, very high damage, good mobility, good whiff punishability, amazing anti-airs. Seth have it all. The only issue with Seth is that of course the health output is 295, so quite low on health. And the second thing is they might struggle a little bit versus fireball zoning, because Seth doesn't have any. The only moves that Seth has that goes straight through fireballs is V-Skill 1. You can go through them with Zitatsu, but it's kind of preemptive. You can't really react and do it. So, a little bit of struggle, but not nowhere near other characters who struggle versus fireballs. And the low HP. But otherwise, Seth is a very strong pressure character and very strong neutral based character. So now we are going to talk about Seth's pressure and offense. Typically in this type of videos I used to break down each of the character moves one by one. But I feel like I want to go a new direction with Sis and talk about the structure of the offense in general, and because Sis have a bit of a weird design philosophy. So, as we said before, one of the greatest things about CIS is that all of the lights take into grabs. So, a big part of our pressure is gonna be just taking into throws. And, like we said, CIS already have a really strong throw opening, right? So, any light, all of the lights can be taken into grab. So, you can do any light to grab, light to shimmy, and all of that stuff. So, and of course, one of the best thing about this is the lights actually have great combo potential. So you can do light into the light punch hands, you can do light to DB, you can do light to EX hands, and one of the better things about this is that the standing light kick combos into the EX Tatsu move. So this is a combo, and this is very very strong because his crouching light punch is a 3-frame attack. 3-frame is the fastest attack a normal can be. Like, it's the fastest speed for a normal in Street Fighter 5. So already having a 3-frame is fantastic. But being able to do something like this from your 3-frame, that is excellent. Like getting crouching light punch, standing light kick into the AX launcher, because this is very high damage from a 3-frame. Like this, not many character can get something like that from 3-frame normally. This is crazy good. So the standing light kick in its, and let's get to the standing light kick now, because this standing light kick is absurd actually. This move is +3 on block. So if we had Ryu block here, it's +3 on block, and it's 4-frame starter. So it's starting 4 frames. It's +3 on block. It can be taken into grab. It combos into itself on hits, so you can do something like that. 2 lights to EX legs. You can do 2 lights to like the light kick Tatsu launcher. You can do 2 lights to DB. You can do 2 lights to whatever you want. This move is insane, and because it's +3 on block, this means that it allows us to play a very strong counteract game. Because if we had Ryu here try to interrupt, here Ryu will try to mash 3-frame, so he will block and try to mash 3-frame. Now we said that all of our lights are plus on block, and all of our lights take grab, right? So you can always do something like this, and this is, remember, this is +3 on block, so you can do something like that, and just be able to combo it into the medium. So you can burst again and counteract. Now you get a combo. The thing with Sis is his pressure from his Sis doesn't have any heavies that's plus on block. So to start off with, no heavies that are actually plus, and his only plus medium is a crouching medium punch. And crouching medium punch being 6 frames and only +2, that means that if your opponent meshes 3-frame, you cannot repeat it into itself. Like, it doesn't frame trap into itself. So if you actually go and play Sis, like maybe you're playing Karen or Cammy, and you want to do crouching medium punch, wait again, crouching medium, that doesn't work. Sis, you can't pressure Sis like this. What you're going to do with Sis is combo into your either like frame trap with your lights, or you frame trap into the medium, but you gotta hit confirm. Because you can do like the crouching medium punch, standing medium punch. This will frame trap. But if they happen to block, or if they happen to block the whole thing and it doesn't try to interrupt, this is -2. So you can't really pressure your opponent with this. -2 on block means that you cannot pressure your opponent. So if you do crouching medium punch, standing medium punch, your turn is over. If they block this, you're -12, you're point blank, you can't special cancel this, your turn is over. So we can only pressure with lights and maybe crouching medium punch, and if we go with the crouching medium punch, we have to confirm the standing medium punch or our turn is over. So how do I extend my pressure with Sis? Like, where is the mix up here? Like, all I'm seeing is I will do 1 light and that's it. Where is the extended pressure? And the extended pressure with Sis comes into 2 forms. So, as you all know, the crouching medium kick is insane. This had a freaking beast of a crouching medium kick. In Street Fighter V, it's quite popular for characters to try to walk back out of your pressure. So someone like Ryu here might try to block one of my attacks and then try to walk back. And the strength of this crouching medium kick is that it is hit confirmable, but it's very hard to do. And you can cancel it into the Tatsu, and this is relatively safe, right? From range like this, maybe not many characters can punish it. What brings everything together with this is the Axe kick. The Axe kick is plus on crouching opponents. So if you do the Axe kick and your opponent is blocking, you are +2 on block. So the mix-up now is you do one light and grab, you do one light, wake up light, wake up light. If you notice they are walking back, you can check with a crouching medium kick. If they are crouching, well, Axe kick. This is basically the mix-up. Seth doesn't do the walk up normal, walk up medium, walk up medium, walk up medium, you know, the Karen Kami stuff. It doesn't really work like that. The mix-up here is, do they walk back and risk getting clipped by the crouching medium kick? Or do they crouch block, and when they're crouch blocking, the Axe kick is plus on block. And if they're crouch blocking, well, now the circus will begin. Now you get to jump on them all day. So Seth's pressure comes in the form of, and this is the keystone of his pressure, either this, the crouching light kick, or the Axe kick. And just forcing them to down back because they are too afraid to get hit by a crouching medium kick. This is how you open your entire pressure game. And the reason they should be scared of the crouching medium kick, because let's say you're in V-trigger, you will do crouching medium kick, Tatsu. This is very simple one bar combo, and you know, they can't take too many of those. So when you're trying to pressure assist, you will have to do a lot of lights to grabs, lights confirm, so maybe have Ryu interrupt again, something like standing light kick twice, counter hit confirm to the Tatsus. You can always have to do the light to say crouching medium kick. Hit confirm that maybe the super. You will do the crouching medium punch into standing medium punch, but you have to hit confirm this, so I don't recommend it a ton. When you force them to crouch, then you can go down to town with the Axe kick or the crouching medium punch. And there is one more thing that's completely busted about the crouching medium kick or the Axe kick, is that on crouching you get a full combo on this. So if you hit it on crouching opponent, yeah, you get a target combo. The other aspect of this game, or his pressure game, is the Tatsu attack. And the thing about the Tatsus is, the heavy Tatsu is +3 on block. So this is what allows you to keep your extended block sequences. So at +3, or this is +2, I'm sorry. At +2 you can do a, like say, you can throw after, you can do like a light kick, you can do light kick to the medium punch, you can do your medium punch straight, and hit confirm to the target combo. You can do many things. And the thing is, if you try to cancel into this from normal, so let's say you do crouching medium punch to the heavy kick Tatsu, I'm sorry, a lot of players will try to do this, but this doesn't really work. This can be interrupted, so I don't really recommend going for something like that. What I do like more is either doing it raw, because this is plus, or if you are going to go for the cancels, mixing the medium in between. So I can do crouching medium punch to the medium Tatsu. If they try to hit me, that's a trade. And you can get like a DB after this in the corner. So our pressure game is gonna be a lot of jabs into counter hit mediums, a lot of dick grabs, trying to catch them walking back with a crouching medium. When we get them to crouch, you go with the Axe kick, and this is plus, or you do the Tatsu, and that is also plus, so you can get stuff like that, or you know, whatever. So you can get stuff like this. So Seth have very strong pressure game, It's kind of a bit unorthodox for this game. I hope I explained it well. And yeah, this character is a beast when it comes to pressuring the opponent. It's a bit weird, but it's very strong. So now let's talk about the neutral game with Seth, the footsies, pokes, whiff punishes, and all of that stuff. And the best poke for Seth, I would say, is probably his crouching heavy kick. Seth kind of have an inverted sweep thing where the crouching heavy punch is the sweep. So the crouching heavy kick is excellent. This is excellent for many reasons. First of all, it's -4, but the pushback is insane. If we did it point blank, look at how much we push back. So this have insane pushback. This is also really strong for V-trigger activation, so you can be like fishing as a neutral, hit it once, and activate a combo to activate the V-trigger. This is also is super cancelable, so you can do something like this, whiffing, fishing with the neutrals, you hit, and cancel into super. So it can be really, really rewarding. The other thing works really well with this, and that is the V-skill 1. V-skill 1 is this suction attack, and the reason that the suction is so good is because it beats all normals and it beats projectiles. So if we had Ryu here do his fireballs, we will be able to suck him in, and once you do that, it's a one-time activation thing. You get their moves basically. And look at how far this is attacking from. Like, this is attacking from crazy far. This is sucking Ryu in from crazy far. So, and the reason I said that it works really well with the crouching heavy kick is because of the pushback of the crouching heavy kick. So, because these have so much pushback, you can do stuff like that. They'll try to take their turn, and nope, you're sucked in, and you get their move. And remember when we said that the crouching heavy kick is super hit confirmable, or is super cancelable? You can make it even easier if you have the V-skill 1 on deck, because now you can just throw Hadoukens, right? So you can do something, you're fishing as a neutral, you do something like crouching heavy kick, Hadouken, right? This is very easy, but we can take it still further. We see this, we walk back and forth, so now we have the Hadouken, we see it hit, and then you cancel into super. Very strong, very, very effective. It's kind of a bait when you do. Every time you do this, it's a bait pretty much. -4, same pushback, very hard to punish. One of the other neutral tools that Seth have is the heavy kick Tatsu. This will go through fireballs. The Tatsus in general will cancel fireballs. So any Tatsus you do will cancel fireball, but the heavy will go through them. And this is still plus on block. So even if we had Ryu block here, you're still plus on block, you're very close, so this is a decent neutral tool as well. But you're kind of vulnerable if you do it, so I don't recommend throwing this one out a lot, but it's something there. The next neutral tool he have, or the next poke he have, and this is actually kind of hilarious to me, the damn X kick. It's still actually one of his best neutral moves. Not only is this insane for pressure, even in the neutral, because it has so much range, it's very quick, it will go over most of the pokes, so again, this is still really, really strong. The sweep, this goes under fireballs, so from a range like that, the sweep is actually really far. Like, look at how much we're sweeping Ryu from. So the sweep is also really, really good. Of course, you can, V-trigger cancel it, make it safe, all of that stuff. So the sweep is also really, really good. Goes under fireballs, the Tatsu, the X kick, crouching heavy kick, standing medium kick is excellent. This is very good. This has very good range, as you can see. Like, you can outbox him with days for this. However, the issue with the standing medium kick is that it only hits standing opponents. So if they're crouching, this will whiff right over. So crouching heavy kick is your best poke. The X kick is insane. The Tatsu is really nice. Now let's talk then about the whiff punishing tools. What move will you use to whiff punish your opponents? So if we hear you doing some attacks, what is the best whiff punish? Or any other character in general. The crouching medium punch is by far your best whiff punishing tool. This move is nuts when it comes to whiff punishing. Look at how far we're getting this combo. You will get the full extensions regardless of the range. Very good stuff, very strong. You can do the standing medium punch, but the issue is this, is that the heavy will whiff if you're not close enough. So from far range, I don't recommend doing the standing. The standing medium punch actually in itself have very good hitbox. It's a very good whiff punish move, but you can't get the extension and the movement by itself is not special cancelable. So if you want to whiff punish into something meaningful, crouching medium punch is your best move, by far your best move. Also, I want to say that the target combo of forward medium into heavy kick into crouching heavy, this is also really good. This target combo is really good as a whiff punish tool because it moves you forward and because it's also a very strong V trigger activation route. So we're saying whiff. You can get something like that, and get a really good V trigger activation. So this target combo is very good for whiff punishing. This is the main purpose really, and you get a really strong V trigger activation. So this you can get some really crazy stuff, but let's have maybe with something like V trigger 2. As you can see, you can get some really nasty things from this attack. So you can really have fun with that. So it's a very strong move. It's very strong for whiff punishing. It's very strong for activating V trigger. Both V triggers are really good to activate from this attack, especially V trigger 2. And the final attacks that I want to talk about is the other V skill, and that is V skill 2. So V skill 1 will go through attacks and go through fireballs. What is this good for? Well, it's good for two things. First of all, it's just combos, and in combos, V skill 2 gives you a ton of corner carry. So you can do something like that. And as you can see, this is some insane corner carry. But the reason that this attack is also really good is because you can do the V skill 2 into the hands, and if your opponent happen to block, this is only -2. So like you can go from full screen, get in their face, be -2 only. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Absolutely crazy good. So very good stuff. So the V skill 2, the Tatsu 2 goes through fireball, V skill 1, the suction, the crouching heavy kick, the axe kick, and to whiff punish use the crouching medium and the standing medium. So what are our anti-airs? What is a good anti-airs with this? So first of all, we talked about how we can play the grounded game. Now let's talk about what happens when they jump at us. This also got you covered because he does have some crazy anti-airs. Standing heavy kick is the easiest anti-airs. This is like Akuma back heavy punch tier normal. And not only because of the hitbox, because you actually get some really good follow-ups here. You can just combo straight into heavy kick hands. You can combo onto the heavy Tatsu to DX hands. You can combo into a ton of things from this. So not only that, look at the anti-air damage here. The anti-air damage is really strong. So heavy kick is really strong. It's active for days. So you can do it very early, you can do it very late. Still gets the cancel, still gets the combo. Very easy, very reliable, very strong. Also we have the DP. Medium punch and heavy punch DP are both like air invincible. And you can super cancel from that. So your punch jumping at you. DB, cancel into super, get insane damage. And dear God, if you have V trigger 1 on and they decide to do that. If they decide to jump in on you when you have V trigger 1 on, you get some absolutely busted damage out of it. Like meterless, you do 237 with bar. We're getting almost 270 damage. If you did the heavy kick, this thing get even more ridiculous. Why am I feeling this? Like that's almost 400 damage. That's not wasn't even optimal. So you can get some crazy stuff here. From a little bit of further range, you can use a standing media kick to anti-air. This is also pretty decent, although I would recommend using the heavy DB for far range jumps. But standing media kick is still a strong anti-air. Also, what is a strong anti-air is the damn X kick. This attack seriously does everything. This will beat 99% of the jumping attacks. And if you have it a V-trigger on, let's see, jumping. You get a full grounded combo. So if you were going for an X kick and they happen to jump, this will happen, and they will eat a ton of damage from this. So the X kick is very very strong. Even if you didn't mean it, it will still anti-air and will get insane damage. So for anti-airs we have the heavy kick, the DBs, standing medium kick for far range, and the X kick. So now we are going to be talking about the V system for sets, that is the V skills and V trigger, and we previously said that we can use the V skill one for the neutral, but I was mostly talking about this part, like the initial activation where you pull them in. So after you get your opponent's move, so basically what this attack does is you pull them in, you press punch, and then you get a move from your opponent. With Ryu we get the Hadouken, with Chun-Li we get her lightning legs. So the reason that this V skill is very good is not only because this gives you a great knockdown. So if we turn the frame data here, Seth is really plus. So at +3 you can go for a meaty, you can go for a grab. This is a very very strong knockdown here. So the initial activation itself is really really strong, but not only that, what's also really strong is the follow-ups. So what's gonna happen now is we are going to be able to use Chun-Li's, and I'm gonna save status so I can just return to this moment every time. So we can, if we press the V skill button, we get Chun-Li's kicks, right? And this can be cancelled into from absolutely everything. And during the pressure section, I didn't get to talk about the hand special. So the hand special is kind of a block string ender. It's a move that you use on block string. On hit, it's not that special. It just leaves your opponent standing, so it's not that fantastic. So if you do like this, doesn't lead to much. But the reason that this is very good is because of the V skill. So you can do something like the hands and then cancel it into the V skill moves that you got. You cancel the hands into the moves that you just stole. And this is very 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 good, because this allows you to go for some crazy extension depending on the moves that you stole. So for example, we can do something like this. And he's +4 after the lightning legs from Chun-Li, and sadly these things are kind of specific, so you will have to learn them one by one for each character. But as you can see, because we just took the V skill from her, we can always cancel into it from the hands. So you can do some basic combo like that. So let's do something like this. I haven't stolen the move yet, right? So this was like a very very basic combo, and this is enabled because we have the V skill. So the hand special, this attack typically it's just a block enter. If they are blocking or whatever and you want to shake them, you can do stuff like that. That's fine. But what's really is all about, it's about fishing for it once you have the V trigger on, because I can do stuff like that. We have it too. I see it hit and then I continue. It get blocked or whatever, and is it set to random? Yeah. She's not blocking at all, that's weird. So you're just fishing with this. This is basically the main tool of this attack, and this is how this V skill is really good. So not only is the activation super good, the follow-up attack, because you can cancel it from anything, is also very strong. And it also gets even more so with V trigger one, but we'll get to that later. So now let's talk about the other move, and that is V skill 2. V skill 2 is a lot more straightforward. We said that you can get this attack, and it's a big part of this neutral. It's because you can just, you can cross the screen fairly quickly and just be completely safe. It's amazing. This is mainly, V skill 2 is mainly used in combos. Like, this is a combo, basically a combo filler corner carry attack. So you can, because you can do stuff like that, you'll get a ton of corner carry on everything you do. In the corner, you can get extremely high meterless damage with that. You can get some on the corner, you can get something like this. And this is like 300 meterless in the corner. So in the corner, the V skill 2 is a lot more straightforward. You just do the dash and stop. You can do something like that, but it's kind of slow, so I don't recommend it. And you'll never plus on that. So, as you can see, that was minus 13. It's kind of reactable. So you can get away with stuff like that, but so basically once you press the V skill, you press V skill again to stop. So maybe you can do things like that, but I don't really recommend it. And V skill 2 can only be cancelled into from cancelable normals. So when you're playing Ken or Laura or whatever, they can do any normal and cancel into their command dash. Doesn't really work that way for Seth. You have to use a normal that is special cancelable, so it makes it a lot more predictable. V skill 2 is primarily gonna be used for this and for combo filler. Just to be able to do a ton of corner carry and just be able to corner, and because you can do stuff like that. That's some insane corner carry. So now let's talk about the V trigger, and let me talk about V trigger 1. I'll go back to let's stick with V skill 2 first. So what V trigger 1 does is it gives you extensions on all of your specials, and this is extremely strong. I cannot emphasize how strong and easy to use this V trigger is. So the kick, once you do the tatsu, you get this extension. With the uppercut, you get the dive kick. You do the extension by pressing the V trigger button after doing the special move. With the hands, you get this attack, and with the tatsu, you get the AX kick, you get the launcher attack. So what this is super good for is two things. The first is it gives you a side switch, even on block, and this is gigantic. So if we had V trigger here, I'm in the corner, Chun-Li is blocking, Chun-Li got me trapped, I can do something like that. And this attack is +2 on block. So I am basically forcing my way out of the corner. Now she's +2, she have to hold my pressure, and I reversed the corner situation, even on block. If you got it to hit, well, that's amazing. If you got it to hit, you can do something like that. If you got it to hit, you still get the conversion. If you got the EX Tatsu, you can get the Tatsu. The Tatsu also side switch, so you can get stuff like that. So the very first benefit of the V trigger is that it enables us a side switch mechanism. On hit or on block. On block, you're still plus. On hit, you get a combo. So this is incredible. You can absolutely get that. Like, that is some insane damage. We switched the corner situation and did 350 damage. That's insane. We can also, this also gives us a very strong anti-air game. Because now if we had Chun-Li jump, let's have Chun-Li jump here. If she jumps and you just get any anti-air, you can always cancel into the V-trigger stomp and get insane damage. So also insane damage, and this also goes for air to airs. If you manage to hit her with an X kick, This is full combo now. So the biggest part of it is not only the damage extensions that you get, it's because it's also very hit confirmable. So what you're gonna be doing a lot of time when you're using Seth is honestly, let's have Chun-Li at 50% health, yeah. So you are going to be fishing for the Tatsu. You're gonna be fishing for this attack because let's have Chun-Li here be blocking. Because what's gonna happen realistically is something like that. You hit confirm that, you do the light punches, do super, and this does insane damage. The reason the V-Trigger is so strong is because of this particular sequence. One crouching medium kick confirm into Tatsu, that's gonna be safe mostly, and you get all of that. That was like almost 50%. So you can keep doing this. It's hard to punish from this range for many of the character. Okay, I'm still safe. I see it hit once, and I do insane damage. So V-Trigger 1 is all about making your already... It doesn't give you new opportunities pretty much, because your only like new thing is that this is plus on block now, and you get a side switch. So this is pretty nice, but you're +2, you're far away from a throw. So it doesn't open new avenues for Seth, but what it does is, it gives him an insane comeback factor. Like, one crouching medium kick, if you have super on deck, that is half of their health bar. And even if you don't, you still get some crazy high damage output. You can get stuff like that. Like that was like 2 bar, for 2 bar you're doing 370. So the crouching medium kick is super ultra deadly once you have V-Trigger 1 on deck. V-Trigger 1 makes your axe kick, crouching medium kick pressure a ton more dangerous because one hit can lead to extreme damage. This V-Trigger is very straightforward, it's very easy to use in my opinion. If you're gonna talk about the best activation routes for this V-Trigger, I will tell you that the two best routes in my opinion are doing the target combo, the standing target combo, this attack. This is very very good. This is excellent. You can also do any of the hand specials. So you do the hand special and then you get a guaranteed follow-up. Crouching heavy punch is not bad, or crouching heavy kick is not bad. The sweep is actually not bad for block. If we had her block that and you get the sweep activate, you're +8, so that's really really good. What else? You can also activate it from the EX hands, so you can do something like this. And also get like a side switch. So this is also very very strong. There's a ton of ways to activate this from, but if I were to recommend something, I would say this target combo and off of hands. These are the two best activations in my opinion. This also works with the V skills that you get from them and the V skill 2 attacks. So if we had, you get the same extensions pretty much, but say with V skill 2 you can get something like that. Doesn't really make a gigantic difference now. It used to, but now it doesn't. But what this is really good for, I think, is because you can do something like this now. And that's like 315 meterless with a ton of corner carry and Oki, so that's excellent. So it does work with this V skill, but and even then you can also, if you're let's have Chun-Li here blocking. You get the idea. So because this is already safe, you can always cancel it into V-Trigger and B+. So that's excellent. The moves that you also steal from them with V-Skill 1 also matters with this V-Trigger. So now we have Chun-Li, and the follow-up is gonna depend on the type of the attack, and it's different for each character. So if we activate V-Trigger, we can do something like that. and he does the same follow-up he would do if they do the hands attack. So this is different for every single character. You're gonna have to learn them, but it gives you some sick combo routes. Like if I was to show you some a cool V-trigger activation combo, let's have her. So maybe do something like that. I forgot. Like you get into some combo video territory now. So you can get some insane stuff. It all depends on which character you are stealing the attack from, because that changes the extension, what you can do and what you can do after it. So there is a bit of experimentation here. Now the last thing I wanted to talk about, that is Seth's V-Trigger 2. V-Trigger 2 is a little bit tricky for me to understand at first, because it's kind of weird. So when you press the V-Trigger button, Seth will put this orb on the screen. And you get to move this orb by pressing the punch normal, a punch attack, and a direction. So, as you can see, and you get 4 movements. So you get to move the orb 4 times, and then do an explosion. So you can do like some cool stuff like that. And you know, gets the explosion. So the reason that this is tricky is because how can we use this? There's a ton of applications, there's a ton of setups for this attack. It's kind of tricky to use in practice because sometimes when the orb hits them, it's kind of disappear. So this V-Trigger have a ton of utility in how you can use it. It's really hard to actually use effectively. You have to be a little bit experienced and know what you're going for. So one of the main uses I have seen for this V-Trigger is the chip aspect. So as we saw, you press the V-Trigger, and with every punch, you press a punch and direction, and the orb will move to the directions that you pointed towards. So if we had pressing like down forward, down back, and you get 4 movements and the explosion at the end. So one application I see a lot of people using it for is for ship damage. So you can do stuff like that. You can use something like this and get some insane ship damage. This is some crazy high ship damage. So to do this, you do the down forward, down back, down forward, and then do the forward medium into heavy kick, do the explosion, heavy punch into like say an uppercut or hands or whatever, right? So this is one application. You can also use it for mix-ups on block and on hit. So on block you can get something like this. And now she have to guess between the overhead and the low. So you can do that. And your opponent is kind of stuck between you and the V-Trigger. You can use it on hit for setups like say... Let's have her here, knock down, normal recovery, yeah. So this is like a combo that you can do. You can also use it for something like this. Or like use this and set up the 50-50 we said about. Get the extension or... In the corner you can get stuff like this. Or just neutral jump and mix this up. So there are a ton of applications to this V-Trigger. It's kind of tricky. I will leave you a couple of the best activations. Typically speaking, the target combo is the best way to activate it from. If you want a really straightforward attack or straightforward like mix-up, what you do is you do the forward direction and then down back. This will combos on hit. So on hit you can get something like that. So on hit you get this, and you can link that to super. Or if they block, you get the 50-50 mix up here. This is the easiest mix up, I would say. You can even throw them here if you want. So this sets up the best low overhead throw OK thing. So what you do is you do the forward and then down forward, and this will leave the orb stay in place, and you can get the mix up. So I will leave some of the resources for how to use the V trigger effectively. It's kind of hard to explain, but basically you get 4 movements, and this is all about practicing setups pretty much. This is a very set play heavy V trigger. It's pretty decent, but I think this is really advanced to use. So if you want something that's a lot more straightforward and direct, I would go with V trigger 1. So this is everything I had to say about this. I will leave you now with some of the combos and Oki and what you get. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe or share. It all really helps. Thank you for watching and stay safe.